O'Neill, 2 L's. I serve the SGC under a General Hammond.
We're explorers. You see, we're from another planet.
The unstable vortex of a forming wormhole. Kawoosh.
Indeed.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Kawoosh podcast. We are on episode 9 of season 2 already, and this one is Secrets. I am your host, Arne, and I am joined as always by my lovely co-host, Evie.
Hi. And it was on disc 3,
Yeah.
which we had to look up because...
All the discs had the same image on the front, so it was a bit confusing.
Yeah, like back in the olden days, like you didn't have this handy thing that would remember where you were.
You had to do it yourself.
Which was actually, you know, at least when you had a video cassette, it did remember where you were. And then you switched to DVD and it didn't remember where you were. And I remember being very annoyed at that. Because it took some getting used to.
Blu-rays nowadays, they do. Sometimes the player also remembers DVDs.
Yeah, no,
but it's
no.
more the player who remembers which
And now you have
disc you put in.
and now you have the opposite effect where like, do you want to take this where you left off? Like you mean mid credits? Can you just start the movie now, please? Like
Yeah, but you do have to remember still if you have to change discs. That is
Yeah.
something. Unless you stream it, that's gotta be on you. So yeah, this one is titled Secrets, and it has a lot of good firsts. We are going to meet Sam's father in this one, which will be a recurring character played by Carmen Argenziano. We have the return of Eric Avari as Kasuf. He's the father of Share, and we have Share returning in this one, played by Vaitiera Bandera. And I have a little tidbit about that, but let's get into the episode so I don't ruin the surprise.
yes, because people haven't seen the show.
They might not remember.
That's a different thing.
We open up on footage from a map, and it is showing the inside of what looks like an Egyptian-style pyramid or room. And suddenly we see a face appearing, watching straight into the camera, and it's Kasuf. It's Share's father. He's short of knocking on the lens, I think.
Yes. He's like,
So yeah, and we are in the briefing room at the SGC, and Daniel wants to go back to Abydos because it is 1 year later from the last time he was there. He said to bury the gate for 1 year. He would try to return, and if he doesn't return, they will bury the gate again.
I have questions. That room did not look any remotely like there had been sand in there. Did they bury the gates? Or did they just
maybe just a door?
like lock the door? I'm like, nah, close enough. Like, or did they were like,
Yeah.
are we gonna get around
right,
to it?
You're
And
right.
then-
They barely go into that room again.
yeah, and also like later on in the episode, the Goa'uld ships just arrive. So why even bury the gate in the first place? It's not like that's where the danger came from most of the time.
True.
Anyway.
True. Yeah. So yeah, Daniel wants to go back. Hammond tells him he can go, but Carter and O'Neill have obligations in Washington because the president won't wait. Apparently they're going to get a medal. Daniel offers up that he will be perfectly safe with Teal'c at his side, and O'Neill asks Carter if they just can't blow off the medal ceremony because, yeah, that's just Jackie doesn't stand for all that pompous stuff. But they open up the gate, Carter and O'Neill see them off, and on the other side, Share's father is waiting for them.
Hang on. I do want to make a point. Like, Daniel specifically tells Hammond, I have to tell him about my search. And I'm like, what search? You haven't been searching for your wife at all.
Yeah, barely.
Like, you never even, not even like, have you seen this woman? Like, little pamphlet, like, putting in people's face. Nothing. Like, what kind of search are we talking about here?
So yeah, Daniel apologizes to Kasuf that he believes his search will go on for many more seasons, which I was like, is this an in-joke about how many seasons the series
But
will
he's not
have?
searching.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But Kasuf acts a little confused and mentions to follow him out to his tent. They go in and we see Share, and she's perfectly fine and pregnant. And this is where we cut to credits. And apparently she was actually pregnant with Michael Shanks' baby because they met on the set and they were married for some years.
They weren't married, they were together.
Or together.
Well, not that it's a very big distinction. It's
Yeah,
just that.
I'm details. But she was pregnant with his child during this episode.
Wait,
Yeah?
that means Michael Shanks met both of his wives on sets while shooting stuff. I mean, that's normal. Like, you meet people at work, they just happen to work on movie sets. So that's...
And I don't think he met his current wife on the set of Stargate. I think
No,
they probably met somewhere else. But
on the set
but
that she was playing
Andromeda.
that one.
Yeah, but she eventually joined Stargate in season 9.
Yeah, and it wasn't until you told me, like, oh, that... I'm like, I don't like her character when she does show up. But, you know, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
Many seasons.
Many seasons. The search must go on. We come back from the opening credits and Teal'c pulls a Zat gun on Shari, but Kasuf...
Which rude, Teal'c. Like, that's a pregnant woman. I mean...
Yeah, but she's also a Goa'uld.
Yeah, well, yeah, but, you know...
But Kasuf comes in between, and Daniel also tries to explain that she's been possessed by a Goa'uld, and she actually tells her father that Daniel is right, that there is a demon in her, but it is asleep because she is with child. And I'm not sure, they probably said this already in another season, but the Goa'uld itself is Amunet. And she is asleep because if she wouldn't be, the child would be stillborn.
Well, it would come forth too soon, basically.
Yeah. Teal'c says he has never heard of Goa'uld having a human child, and Daniel poses the question, why does Apophis want a human child? And Shari tells him that Apophis wants to take the child as his new host when it is of age.
Which is interesting, but they never say anything else about it, which makes me wonder what is so special about a child born this way to then choose it as a host.
Yeah, they point out that it's human,
Yeah.
but it is of two people possessed by Goa'uld.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
there must be
So
something
is there-
more, but then at least now they don't go into this at all.
I do feel like I was very upset with Daniel because he acts very like he's the one who has been wronged, and he storms off and he yells at her, and I'm like, dude, that's your wife. She's been kidnapped. She's been abused. She's pregnant against her. Can you be nicer to her, please? And he's just very huffy about it, which like he does turn around eventually, but yeah, that was not a good look on him.
Yeah, he basically just storms off and goes out of the tent. At that point, we cut back to Earth. In Washington, Carter and O'Neill are walking through the city. I'm pretty sure that's just Vancouver because I recognize those stairs from like any series filmed in Vancouver, but sure.
Also, why do they everyone in that scene, including the extras, nobody descends or ascends those stairs in a straight line. They all go like
but
lead-
it's
and this-
dynamic
it's these ziggy-zaggy lines. Dynamic. She's wearing heels and a tiny mini skirt. Why is she taking more steps? No more. No.
Yeah, that is just a visual thing on TV.
And
that is
why
not
is
logical.
she in a skirt?
I do believe that it
That
is
was the
a dress
mandatory-
uniform and that it is mandatory. You are absolutely right. It is.
bleh.
Yeah, but I do believe that it was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is right now, but back then, dress uniform for women had a skirt. They are talking about that. O'Neill says, like, I can navigate across the galaxy, but I can't find my way in Washington. Carter says it is her old stomping ground. She used to study or work there, and trying to get the Stargate program back off the ground. And then they arrive at the gathering where they will get the ceremony.
Yes, which is just another interior
Yes.
Canadian location.
Yeah, just a big room.
But they put a big emblem on the wall, and that's how you know that they're inside the Pentagon.
They see that Hammond is already there and he's talking to people, and they make a joke that he's already doing public relations stuff. But the man Hammond is talking to turns around, and it is Carter's dad, and she recognizes him immediately, of course. We go back to Abydos, where Shari is thinking that Daniel no longer loves her, but Teal'c tells her that is incorrect, that he cares a lot for her. And Shari mentions that she recognizes Teal'c. So he tells her that he was there when the Goa'uld took possession of her body, and he apologizes to her. And she says, no, there is even more. She tells him that she knows he's a traitor. She remembers Apophis as being really mad. So Teal'c thinks she might have access to the memories of the gold inside her. So he joins Daniel outside to tell him this, and he says we have to take her back through the Stargate.
Which is definitely also just a generally smart idea, even if she doesn't have any intel.
Yeah, even without that, you can
Yeah.
take her back and try to find a solution to get it out of there. At this point, I don't think they have met the Tok'ra yet. This will be later on in the season.
They're setting up things for that.
So it would have been possible, but because I think they can extract gold simians. But yeah, we're not.
I'm
there
just
yet.
very happy that Teal'c, like one of his first reactions is, okay, we have to get her out of here. And then, of course, because of plot-related reasons, they don't actually get off the planet fast enough. But I was really annoyed because they could have gotten off that planet quite a few times before it was too late. But again,
this is something that we'll probably mention in our overall thoughts. But yeah, there is some messing about on the planet for no real reason.
yeah, well, the reason is you can't leave before the enemy gets there because then we don't have a story. But that's annoying.
Yeah, that's writing. You can write it that way that it makes more sense. But anyway, so he tells her that she shares the gold memories, and that having access to these memories would, of course, be valuable. But Daniel opposes to it because he asks, what does that mean? Do we just hand her over to Mayborn for research? Well, research in quotation marks, of course, but it would be more like torture. But Teal'c says, like, we only have days before she gives birth and the opportunity will be gone, which is a very good point. So time is of the essence.
I do also like that. Like, he totally clocks him. He's like, well, you're not very... Because at a certain point, they're like, Shari is not behaving as... I forgot their exact wording, but Teal'c basically back for it. No, who says, well, he's not really behaving as a husband?
Not sure.
But I wrote down clock him, because I was like, yeah, you tell him. Daniel was not behaving like a husband right now.
It probably was Teal'c.
I don't think it was Teal'c. I think it was...
Kassav?
her, yeah, but then later on, Teal'c does clock him too, so... Which is good, because characters are allowed to be, you know...
They can be messy.
Yeah, but then you have to point it out, and
Yeah.
you have to... Because then Daniel goes like, hasn't she gone through enough? And I'm like, then comfort her, you dolt. You're sitting outside moping, and go inside.
Yeah, but she has gone through a lot. But that doesn't mean you just stop and stop trying.
Well,
Because-
yeah, but I didn't think... Like, Daniel was like, hasn't she gone through enough? Well, you're the one who just yelled at her and ran out on her.
Yeah.
So maybe, like, get your shit together.
And the whole thing is you were trying to save her. You now have a chance to do so. And now
Yeah.
you're going to say, oh, maybe we should stop at this
Yeah,
point. Like,
so-
it's weird.
Yeah, so Teal'c clocking him and being like, dude. I like that.
Anyway, we cut back to Washington, where Hammond tells Sam that he invited Jacob himself. Jacob said he was surprised to hear that she was getting a medal for deep space telemetry. So it's very obvious that he's not buying the cover story. And then Jack joins the conversation, and he even jokes to Jack like he's needling him, like, oh yeah, a lot of action in the deep space telemetries. So yeah.
I liked when they shook hands and Jack like, oh, you're Sam's dad. I heard nothing about you. It's like, it's because normally you're like, I heard a lot about you, and he's like, no idea who you are, sir. Like,
Which is good because
yeah.
until that point the audience never heard of him, so it's a fun gag to point out that no, we haven't heard about her dad
Yeah,
yet.
but Sam also isn't the kind of character who is like, hey, do you know who my dad is?
No,
like,
she is very
yeah.
work focused.
Yeah.
She is very, and it's actually a point in this episode. Like she likes doing her job. She's very good at it.
And I do like in this episode, like, hey, look, you can split up the team. You don't have to drag them all to that one planet and have them stand around doing nothing. You can just split them up and have them do their own things. Also, I liked how they split them up differently, because mostly it's, up until this point, it's Sam and Daniel and then Jack and Teal'c. Because,
Yeah.
you know, action, science. So this is nice. I know you want to say something.
No, I was gonna say that you're absolutely right. This is one of those episodes with really strong A and B stories. They did a real good job, like I said, splitting it up in a smart way, and they both have really good stuff going on. So yeah,
I do wonder, why is Jack first naming Sam? Because he usually only ever does that in very high emotional situations or like very serious situations. But here they're in a military setting. So it's a bit weird to me that he's not using her rank for some reason.
I didn't clock it.
I did,
Maybe
but
it is
that's
because it's a relaxed. They're relaxed. They're having.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a knee-jerk reaction of him. He doesn't want to be too. He doesn't like this kind of situation, so he's trying
Could
to be
be.
more. I think
Could
maybe
be,
that.
because he's out of his element.
Yeah, he definitely. Maybe it's that, just that he's like, hey, I don't want to be here. Where are the beers? Because he does run off like repeatedly from this event. He's like, oh, you need something else doing? Let me do it.
Yeah, because at this point he does run off because he also notices like, oh, there's something going on between Sam and her father. So
Let
he's
me
like,
just-
I'm out of here.
And what does he say he's gonna do? Hang on. He said, I'm gonna get some air. And then he's like, Colonel, Sam, waiter. And he just runs off. He's like, just... And he doesn't even get air. He goes to a bar. I mean...
Air, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And when Sam is alone with her dad, he tells her basically that he pulled some strings and he can get her into NASA because it always was her dream to become an astronaut. And she's, of course, taken aback a little bit.
Which I do like, because at first you're like, oh, this is just another situation in which a dad in a high position is trying to level up their kids. But the reaction of Sam shows you that this is not usual for him. Like, she never needed him to pull strings before. Now he's suddenly doing it, and she's taken aback. She's not like, oh, Dad, not again. So that really sets up later, like what's going on later. And I like that. It's very well played.
Yeah, and then for some reason we cut outside to a foreboding figure looking at the building.
I mean, a foreboding figure...
It was a bit confusing to me because it's like we should know what is happening or what is coming up, but we don't. And we will meet this character in just a moment and he will introduce himself. That was fine. We didn't need a shot from him outside. Weird. Yeah. Anyway, back on Abydos, Daniel confronts Shari. She asks for his forgiveness, but he tells her there is nothing to forgive, and he tells her that he loves her, and they embrace. And she asks him to stay, and he says he can't because he wants her to come with. Nice moment, nice scene.
I just would have liked to have it happen just a little bit earlier, because it takes a while for him to get around. You know.
Yeah, they're intercutting a lot here.
Oh, true.
Between
No,
the
I'm
two
just meaning
stories.
just character-wise. I'm like, Daniel, okay, finally, here we are. Come, you know.
It
This
would
is-
have been nicer if he had come to this by himself.
Yeah.
And not having have been told by all of the other characters, like, hey, you're an ass, go talk to her.
But that would be less visual, and we are in a TV series.
Jacob tells Sam that he pulled some strings, he can get her into NASA, and that she can skip the waiting list, and she gets a little offended. She says, my work is really important, and then he says, yes, but it is not your dream. We cut to Jack, who is sitting, getting some air at the bar,
It comes in a glass.
and he gets approached by a journalist. So that was the guy from outside, and he asks him about the Stargate. Jack, of course, plays dumb. But he recorded the short conversation on the stairs outside about navigating the galaxy. So the journalist says, like, I have all the proof I need, I just need confirmation.
So what that tells me is you don't have all the proof you need, because you don't need confirmation if you have the proof. Also,
Later on he says, like, I didn't need you, I just wanted to meet you. So he's going back and forth on this story.
Also, he's like, I taped you, I got you. Like, all he said was galaxy and Stargate. That's just buzzwords. They could be very empty. They could be fooling around.
Yeah.
That would not hold up in court.
Yeah, but
So-
Jack says, like, oh, I was talking about the Galaxy Transport airplane.
yeah.
I'm in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Which was a very nice save.
But also, this journalist is all like, I have everything I need. But then why are you there risking yourself? Because this is the military. They don't usually take kindly to people poking at them.
We go back to Abydos, and they're talking charade through the plan. So they will try to keep the gold repressed, and they will try to protect her. And if they can, they will remove it. If not, they will probably have to put her in a cell, or at least in a secluded area, for her safety and others. But they tell her it's your choice if you want to come or not. Even though, and this was actually a very nice moment, because Kasuf orders her to go. He says like, oh, good plan, you go. And then Daniel counters, no, it's her choice. Which is a nice callback to the way their relationship was in the movie. Like, she was very much, she had to listen to her dad. And she was sold off to Daniel in that movie. So yeah.
Oh boy.
Nice recall, but it's nice to see that Daniel at least grew a little bit. And she decides to come with. And then Tilk remembers everybody, they have to hurry because Apophis will be coming soon. We cut back briefly to Washington, where Jack goes to Hammond and he tells him about the reporter, and they conclude they have a leak.
And they all act really surprised that they have a leak. But the amount of people working in that mountain alone, just... there should not be a surprise that there is a leak. Like, the Manhattan Project was the worst kept secret just because all those people had to do their grocery shopping in the next town over. Like, you can't keep secrets like that. It just... So it was just like, oh no, we have a leak. Like, I would be more surprised if you didn't have a leak. And it might not even be on purpose.
It's more weird that they don't really have a contingency plan ready.
Yeah, it's like Jack's gonna talk to this reporter. Like, don't you have a phone call you can make? And then
the whole thing is that the guy saw the lights in the sky and he made his whole story about that. And you would think that you would have a story ready, right? Because there was 2 big explosions in space.
I don't know.
No PR.
I mean, I know I'm nitpicking at it now, but I do like the fact that we're playing around with the public needs to know, because I agree, the public should know about this.
On Abydos, they are walking to the Stargate and the building suddenly starts rumbling. So they think Apophis is nearing and there's a spaceship landing.
But do they rush to dial the gate? No!
Well, they do at some point start dialing the gate.
Yes, but it could have been dialed faster.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But then this is the part when you're playing an RPG and you're like, oh no, I start dialing the gate, and the GM goes like, let me just make this a cutscene so you have to freeze because no, like it kind of felt like that. Like, no, this has to happen.
Yeah. At this point, Sharae steps away and we see her eyes glow because the gold inside her is awakening. Tilk wants to shoot, but Daniel tells Sharae to fight it. She does so, but this triggers her going into labor. And they say like it's probably started by the gold inside her.
I do, like, this is a personal pet peeve of mine, but every time somebody's like, fight it, I know you can, I'm like, no, that's not how those things work. And it's kind of like saying like, oh, I know you have a broken leg, but try to walk on it anyway. Like, some things you just can't push past. But the same solution is always like, no, you have to fight it. Like,
because it's a mental thing. At least that's how they frame it.
But
like,
even mental things, you can't just... That's like saying, touch this burning hot stove. I know you can do it. Yes, technically you can, but that's not... You know what I mean,
I know you're right, but it's very plot-driven. It's
just very
a story.
tropey, and I just don't like that trope. Like, snap out of it. I know you're in there. Like, here we go again.
But it's the same thing. Like, okay, she's pregnant, and you just know that, okay, she's gonna give birth this episode, and it's gonna be at the most inconvenient moment. It's just the way stories go.
Yeah, and the birth is gonna go off without complications. And it's only gonna take like an hour tops. Which every time I see that in a movie, I'm like, nice. I didn't know that was
Anyway, they rush Sharae out of there, and the rings in the ceiling are activated. Harrower appears.
No, say that again. I'm sorry.
Harrower?
Just keep going.
Anyway, and they notice that the gate was dialed, and he orders also to find Apophis's wife. So Queen, yes, Queen.
Like, find Apophis's queen.
On Earth, they are walking into a small room to talk about who knows about the Stargate and therefore could be the leak. They talk about the fact that most of the civilians have non-disclosure agreements, so it's probably not them, but they agree that it might be political, so they bring up our good friend from Senator Kinsey up again. But it could have fallout national and international, because if other countries would know that they have this gate, it would have consequences.
As
Which-
well it should.
Yes,
I mean,
which will be a plot point later on, so they will tackle this. But they still have time. Jack says he will try to contact the journalist, or, well, let the journalist find him. So, we cut back to Abydos. We're in a cave. It's apparently the same cave they hid in the movie. Sure, whatever. It's a cave. And Daniel tells him it was not Apophyse's ship, it was her. She tells him he's a big enemy of Apophis. Teal'c, meanwhile, is worried that the gold inside Shari will reawaken, but Daniel does not want to leave at this point. So he tells them that he will try everything he can to keep the Horus guards away, and Teal'c leaves. In Washington, Jack starts loitering around outside, sits down on a bench, and is immediately joined by the journalist.
I do believe Prop's apartment put that bench there. That was not a bench that was there.
It's a weird location
It
for
is
a bench.
a weird location. Well, it's not a weird location for a bench. Like, the outside world needs more benches, but I
Yeah,
don't
okay, but-
believe that bench was there.
So yeah, at this point he tells Jack that he doesn't really need him. He has everything he needs, but he wanted to meet him anyway. And Jack asks what it is he knows. So Armin, apparently we get to know the journalist's name, lays it all out. It talks about the flashes in the sky and that it was 2 ships that were destroyed and they were on their way to Earth. Jack tells him it's all fake and he doesn't believe it.
He plays it very chill, actually. Jack is very contained, and he just really plays the I don't know what you're talking about card very well.
Yeah, but
I
he
feel.
does get all the information that he wants, like what does the guy know more or less. And then Armin walks away, he crosses the street and he gets run over by a car. It is a clear hit and run and he dies before O'Neill can find out who told him, because Jack rushes to him to help him, but it's too
Well,
late.
Jack doesn't even go like, tell me, damn it. Jack is very upset at this point because the journalist like, you did this, and Jack like, I swear this wasn't us. Like, and he tries to help him, and he's legitimately upset.
Back on Abydos, Heruer is trying to find Sharae. He wants to take her alive before Apophis returns. And one of the Horus guards is threatening Kasuf to find out where his daughter is. And at this point, Teal'c walks in on them, distracting the Jaffa, and shoots him with his Zat gun.
Zetnikital. I do like that, like, the guard is basically beating up Kasuf. And he's like, I can't tell you what I don't know. Do you want me to lie? And I just love that so much, because what do torturers think is gonna happen?
But it's cool because in the
Yeah.
movie he finds his bravery and he still is brave. He still does not cower for the false god. So it's
Yeah.
really cool that he really knows this character and he plays it like he used to play it. Like I really believe this. Well, it is the same actor. It's the same character. It's very cool. I love the guy.
He plays very nicely in The Mummy too.
Yes. Back in Washington, Jacob Carter is looking through a window when he gets joined by Sam, and
And I pointed out that they were not in Washington, but there was a very nice composite because you can see the reflection of the
of the skyline of the city.
of the obelisk. No, that's not it. The pointy thingy from Egypt.
It's an obelisk. Yeah.
Is it an obelisk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then they had a nice camera movement, and they had a little bit of traffic underlying there, but it was very much. It was done in the studio with a picture, probably
yeah.
in the
yeah.
reflection. So
But it's really well done.
yeah, it was really well done.
He asks Sam if she is disappointed because the president cancelled because of the accident outside. And
Which is weird. It's very convenient. I think they just really didn't want to cast the president. Which, probably.
but it's a bit forced because they now have to move the ceremony to another place, which will lead to 2 things: that it will be Hammond giving the medals, but also that Jacob cannot join her there.
Yeah, and also Hammond can actually say why they're getting the medal, and he doesn't have to put a story about it. But the main gist of this scene is that
Jacob cannot follow her. He can't be there, and tells her at this point that he has cancer, lymphoma, and he will have to go away for a while. And he always hoped to see her fulfill her dream before he passes away. And she says, if it's my dream, do I have a say in it
like,
too?
isn't it up to me?
Yeah.
And
And he tells her that fathers have dreams too. And he says, like, this thing is going to go on for months, so no need to check in tomorrow. And he walks out, leaving her in tears.
And I really like this scene because it was so well done. And like Sam is legitimately upset, and they really play this very, very nicely. And I was sitting there thinking, like, these two people have more chemistry than Michael Shanks and his actual partner at the time, which that has to be down to the writing. That's not the people. That's just Charest is such a cookie cutter, flat character.
It's a very badly drawn character.
Yeah, there's nothing there to work with.
And I know there wasn't much in the movie, but it's a TV series.
Yeah.
You can expand on this.
I really feel like they didn't really want to take Charest on into the future, which, fair, but then it was just so unfair to her because...
But yeah, like you said, this scene really works. We understand both of their points of view.
Yeah.
We know as a viewer that it's not gonna work because we know that Sam is happy where she is and she can't tell him. So yeah, this is really, really cool. We cut back to Abydos where Charest is still in labor. She's calling out to Daniel and he tells her to push. But she says, if I do that, the demon will come back.
And if you don't do that, you die, Charest. So I'm very confused what your angle is here. Again, Charest as a character really annoys me. Because here she is, crying and being all... I'm not saying you can't cry when you're giving labor, but she's very much not in charge in this situation. Daniel is a level-headed, calm one who is telling her what to do. And I'm like, ugh!
That is basically her character. She is very much dependent on Daniel. Whenever Daniel is around, she is dependent on him, no matter what's going on. And that's what annoys me about her character.
Because I remember this entire scene where Daniel is like, everybody was constantly thinking, oh, I'm a god, except Charest. Charest made fun of me. Charest made fun of me for not knowing how to do basic stuff. We never see that. We never see that. Like, she's...
Like, they are saying things about her character that could be interesting, but we never get shown.
Like, she's brave,
her.
she's strong. Like, can we see this?
Yeah.
Please. I'm not saying she's not in a difficult situation and that this isn't traumatizing, but...
Sure, but...
Yeah, but...
Anyway, he reassures her that he loves her and that no gold can take that away, so he tells her to push. And as the baby comes out, her eyes flash and the gold takes over again. At this point, a Horus guard enters, asking for the child of Apophis. We, of course, immediately know that this is Teal'c. Daniel moves to him to give the baby, and then Charest curses him, telling him that Apophis will find them and destroy them. And then Teal'c, as the guard, tells her to say to Heroher that... Tell Apophis that Heroher has his child, and then he stuns her.
Which is so smart. I love how Teal'c's like...
He is very smart in this episode.
He's so smart. I loved it. It was very refreshing to see after the nonsense of the last episode. Like, Teal'c is calling people out. He is taking charge. He is fixing stuff. He is just doing all the things.
Behind the scenes, he's doing everything to make this episode work.
He's like, I got you, bro. And he just fixes everything. And I love it.
So yeah, he opens up his helmet. We see it's Teal'c, but we already knew that. And he says we don't have much time. It's pretty much what he's been telling us the whole episode. They leave Charest and they bring the baby to Kasuf. So they explain that they've lost Charest to the demon and that they won't give up trying to save her, which is such a good solution. And it's very nice because it's so logical. You would bring that baby to the parent and then tell him to go into hiding, which is pretty much implied, like, you have to get out of here, they can't find you, here is your grandchild. Which leaves the door open for him to return in the future, which is very, very cool. On Earth, we have Hammond giving Sam and Jack their medals to thank them for destroying the 2 ships around Earth. I was momentarily thinking, like, why only them? But then I remembered because those medals are military, and Daniel and Teal'c are not in the military, so it's only Sam and Jack getting those medals. So it makes sense. So it's okay, it's smart. And then he apologizes that the president isn't there to give them. But Sam says it's okay, she feels better receiving them from Hammond. And then Sam leaves to prepare to ship out to Abydos because they're going to join Teal'c and Daniel. But Jack remains, and he just looks at Hammond, who tries to reassure him that it was an accident. Not ominous at all, but Jack doesn't seem to believe it.
I really loved Jack's face in this moment. Such a great actor.
Yeah,
because
it's no lines.
He
it's
just looks at Hammond, and Hammond's like, it was an accident. And I'm like, was it though? Was it really? And just Jack's face says it all. Like, he doesn't believe it's an accident. He thinks that it was the wrong thing to do. Like, all of that is in his face. Like, actors are
very,
awesome.
very good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very short, but it just hits home very hard for Jack. We cut back to Abydos. Tilk brings Daniel to Harrower,
But he's in disguise.
yeah, saying that the baby has been taken. He also says that Daniel is from the Tauri, another enemy of Apophis, and they should work together. But Harrower doesn't want this. He wants to destroy them and Apophis. Then at that point, the Stargate activates.
Which I wonder, Teal'c, did you know they were coming? Was there like a time set? Maybe somebody should have said like, we're meeting at this time. Like, just because now it just feels like Teal'c is winging it, which does not line up with his previous awesome planning.
I think the plan was for them to join Daniel at a later point.
Yes,
but
but
I'm not
at a
sure.
later point,
Yeah,
like-
because they moved the ceremony and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It takes time. So
Yeah.
even if they had a time, they would not have nailed it.
Yeah, so what was the plan there?
Yeah, but it is really clunky at this point. Like, he takes out a guard by pushing him in the vortex. and
Which
it's-
is smart,
Yeah,
but
but
it's
a clunky
it
scene.
only works if he knew Jack and Sam were coming. And even then, like, you're risking them shooting you because you're in disguise.
This is actually the first thing that is not that smart that
Yeah.
Tilk does. Like, it's a pretty big gamble going to her and trying to get an arrangement
Well,
or something.
I do think
it's a good plan. but
They
he-
needed to tell the guy, though, that the baby was taken, because both parties need to think that the other party has the baby. Otherwise, it
yeah.
doesn't work. So I get that. But I do feel that, in my mind, I'm just like, okay, he knew they were coming, and that's the only way that plan was
Yeah.
going to work.
But yeah, so he takes out the guards. Harrower puts his shield up, but it's not Apophis coming through. It's Jack and Sam. So a firefight erupts. Jack ends up throwing a knife at Harrower, and it goes through the shield into the hand with the device on it.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, but he manages to escape with the rings. Then the gate activates once more.
Hang on, but first Sam's like, she does this whole technobabble thing, like, because the shield's power is directly proportional to the force, to the kinetic energy. So if you go really, really fast, it bounces off, but slow objects can go through. That's the gist of it. And she's like, oh, very smart, sir. You remember this? And you're like, Jack, like, yeah, because he did remember, but not in those words.
It was more instinctively, and he might
Like,
have remembered in the back
He
of
might
his
have
brain
remembered,
that
but he's gonna remember
Yeah.
fast, bad, slow, good. Like, you know, that's the gist of that.
So yeah, this time Apophis does come true, and it calls out to his queen, and Amonot appears.
And she appears in full queen garb, which
Yeah,
makes
she-
me think
she-
she brought a travel bag, but also who dressed you? Did you just like, you, peasant, help me? Because they don't dress themselves. That's not a thing.
Yeah, she tells him that she has lost the child and that she is sorry. SG-1 is...
That's not how she says it. She apologizes very demurely to her Pharaoh. It was...
Yeah, because she's
Which-
probably scared of him.
Yeah,
And I do because her reaction and how she apologizes is very natural. Like, yeah, she is subservient to him. And you would expect him to be a little bit more angry. But he's like, there, it's all fine. And then they go away. So,
I don't think. Well, it was more to me like there's guards around. I
Maybe.
can't just be. And he
Yeah.
also has so little guards left at this point. Like, if he goes into another angry tangent, then people might think that he is not in control of the
Yeah,
situation.
maybe that is
it was
it,
more
yeah.
to me like I have to control my emotions at this point. It just really was apparent to me that this is not a couple. Like, they don't rule together.
No.
He rules.
No, he
And
rules.
she is his queen.
yeah. Very
Which-
much so.
yeah.
But the most important thing is that SG-1 is hiding from this.
Not very well.
Not very well, because Amunet sees Daniel and they lock eyes, but she does not reveal that they're there. So really nice tidbit to include there.
So we're
Although
at-
it does get pointed out by Teal'c afterwards when they are gone.
But it's well, no, but it's more like Daniel. She didn't give us away. In it, there's hope.
Yeah, he's really trying to reassure Daniel and give him some hope back. Yeah, that's really it. And then Jack's just like, he has had quite the day. He's like, can somebody dial home, please?
Can we just go home? Like, and somebody else write this report because I'm not gonna.
Yeah, and then the episode ends. Overall, this is a very strong episode. I think the only weak point continues to be Share's writing. Well, the writing of the character, not
Yeah.
the actress necessarily, but the character is
And
so...
it's just because I looked her up on IMDb. No, I looked her up, and it's kind of sad because I looked her up on Wikipedia, and this is the only prominent role that she ever did. And I wonder, like, if she had been given any other role, things could have been different. Maybe, I don't know. Some roles are just so ungrateful, and you never know how it's gonna go. But yeah,
They didn't really put the time in. Like,
but they
this
did.
episode pulls off a lot, and it sets up a lot,
Like,
but
to-
it could have used a little bit more attention.
I just don't feel like she's not a character.
No.
Like, this is very much like you can replace Share with a lamp. You can replace her with a lamp, and then Daniel would just be very sad that somebody stole his very precious lamp. Like, she is not a person.
Yeah, and
At
it
all.
would have worked better, like when Apophis treats her as subservient, which is perfectly fine for the Goa'uld, but it would be nice that Daniel didn't do this, or that she didn't act that way to Daniel.
Yeah. And in the movie, at least, you can be like, oh, this is learned behavior, but Daniel doesn't really work at, like, deprogramming her. Is that the right word? I don't know. It
In
just...
the movie, he actually does more in the movie than he does in the series. In the
Yeah.
movie, you can see that they're having dialogue, and he tries to teach her other ways. And of course, because it's such a short period of time, there's not a lot of progress there. But then we skip ahead the whole time. The series starts, but they're basically still in the same place.
Yeah.
They tell us that she's different, but she really isn't.
Yeah.
And then she gets taken away, which is fine, but she continues to be the same. She does not evolve at all.
But again, this is not on the actress.
No, not at all. It's really a writing problem. But on the
this-
other side, we have the other story, the B story.
I mean, I did like the story. I just wish, I'm not going to rehash it again. I liked both stories. And they really worked well together and separate.
It's just, it's the scenes with Sam and her dad are much shorter. Like, this really is the B story in the episode, but it works better. It's written a lot better. They have some really good actors in there. Sam's dad is going to be a recurring character. He's a really good actor. So, yeah.
And it's setting up a lot of things because at one side you have the Goa'uld, which is the major threat to the Stargate program and to Earth. And on the other side, Earth has no idea what's going on, should know what's going on. So they're really smushed in the middle. And this is a nice episode to show that. Like, there's, I also made like little drawings on here because I still had room. About what the staff weapon looked like, because you got the Lego minifigs of the team, but Teal came without a staff weapon. So I made him a staff weapon. I'm gonna get a staff weapon.
You gonna show?
All right, I brought all of them. Hang
Oh,
on.
you brought all of them?
Yeah, here, this is Sam. Show off Sam.
So this is Sam.
And this is Jack.
This is Jack.
Which
with
you
his-
positioned.
Yeah, with his trademark arm on my gun position.
Which, that's one of our guns. They didn't come with guns, did they?
No, they didn't come with guns, so these are Star Wars rifles. Then we have Daniel, and I'm still thinking about what we should give him.
I don't think we have handkerchief. Yeah, I don't think we have a hanky.
Looking glass, maybe.
This
And
is
then we
still-
have Teal.
And
Yeah, so cool.
and I made him a little.
Little staff weapon.
Yeah, there we go. He's so cool.
Anyway,
I mean, look at his eyebrows. They really got him down pat. Like,
next week we will have a Teal'c-centric story, so I'm really curious. It is
Ooh.
titled Bane. And then after that we will be introduced to the Tok'ra, and we will have Sam's dad returning. So this really is the setup of what is going to come in a couple of episodes.
all right, so 10. So disc 3 is going to be Bane.
Yeah, and then we have Tok'ra Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh, okay. Do I remember this episode?
Y- there's something with a bug that is attached to teal. I remember it vaguely. So I'm.
That's usually not a good sign. If we were like, we remember this vaguely, then it usually wasn't a good episode.
No, not
But
necessarily.
yeah,
There's so
maybe not.
many episodes, and we have refound some really good ones that we had forgotten.
True, and we are old.
Yeah.
And our mind is...
Our mind is fleeting. Anyway, these little guys and
Hang on. You know, if we're going to show these around, then tell them where you got them.
I got these from minifix.co or .com through Firestar Toys, I think. I got them online anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, we get a lot of minifigs from them.
Yeah.
Because you got the Doctor Who ones there
I
too,
got the
right?
Doctor Who ones from there too, yeah.
And I have Squid Game cards.
Yeah, also
there.
yeah. So yeah, these are really cool. They're a bit expensive for Lego minifigs, but they
They do have to be printed.
Yeah,
custom,
they have
so-
custom prints that are really well done. They are on the side and the back, so it's really detailed. I really like them.
All right.
So yeah,
They're gonna go great with the Stargate that I'm building.
yeah, we will definitely show you some photos of these in close up on our Instagram, which is my Instagram at Arne Kustermans, and you can find me on YouTube as @Iridonian. We have started our campaign, so I hope you're watching that one too. And you can find Evie as EV Belknap on most of the socials. And we will see you next week for Bane. Bye.